Good to go? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Healthy Hearts session. Nutrition for skin health. If you look at the promotional material we sent around, we put in a small message to say that sometimes some people claim they eat certain foods and then they start seeing some spots on their skin. Some people have excessive itchiness, there's a lot out there that suggests that what we eat can impact on our skin. Now, is that really the case? What is the link between our food and our skin health? This, among others, is what we're going to talk about today. We have our own registered nutritionist, Sylvia, who's done the research. She's also a health coach, done the research on this topic. She's going to take us through what the evidence is saying, clarify any misinformation out there so we can be well informed, so we can do better if there's evidence to show that our diet can impact our skin health positively. Wherever you are, as always, please do join us. Facebook. Nina, sometimes after the sessions, I go to YouTube and then I see some questions. So please kindly keep an eye on YouTube for us so that if there's any questions on there,
No,
we can address these questions as we go along.
no problem. That's
So,
fine.
yeah, without much ado, I'm just going to invite Sylvia to take us through today's presentation. Over to you, Sylvia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hibbah. Good evening, everyone. I hope we're all doing all right this evening. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Right. Okay, right. So just like what Dr. Hibbah has said, today I'll be discussing something very interesting, which is nutrition for healthy skin. And so please ask your questions. Feel free to come with every myth, everything you've had to think about when you've had skin issues. And to the best of my knowledge, I will try and we will discuss it and answer all your questions about achieving a clear and glowing skin through your diet, or basically through your nutrition, sort of. And also, I'm not a dermatologist. I am a nutritionist. So I am going to be coming from the nutritional point of view. Basically, I'm going to be dealing more of the nutritional than from the dermatological angle. Right, let's get into it. So first things first, before we go forward, we need to understand our skin. We need to know what it is basically. Let's get the basic facts about our skin out of the way. So the skin is the largest. It is the largest organ in the body, in as much as a lot of us might think, oh, really, it is really the largest organ. So most times, most of us, we believe that it's just it's just the skin covering. It's not just the covering to protect our muscles or our skeleton. It is more than that. So what the skin does is we say it's the body's superhero. It is made up of the hair, which is the follicle, the hair follicles, our nails, oil glands, and the sweat. They all make up what we call the integumentary system of the body. So one of the major functions of the skin is that it protects the body. Now, how does it do this? The skin is a multi-layered protective suit. So there are 3 layers of our skin. This very light skin we're seeing, there are 3 layers to it. So the top is what we call the epidermis, and then we have the dermis, and then we have the subcutaneous tissue, which is where fat is being stored that tends to keep us warm. So the dermis is the part of our body that protects us from harm, damage, bacteria or injuries when we have like a cut and things like that. And the dermis is where our blood vessels, the hair follicles, the sweat glands, and all of that is where they are located. So Also, some areas of our skin, if we notice, some areas tend to be more thicker than the other areas. For example, your elbow and under your feet. This is because, just like we said, it protects the body. Now, this is because we are we're subject to get injuries in those areas. When you're walking, you can step on something that can harm your feet. So the skin is thicker in that area because it's trying to protect you, and also your elbow area too. Aside from that, with our dermis, there's what we call there's a skin barrier. So it's a very slightly acidic barrier with pH of about, I think, 4.4 to 4.5 pH. Now, what that barrier does is that is our body's first line of defense. So it contains specialized immune cells that whenever we come in contact with a foreign body or a germ, those immune cells are what will fight against that foreign body. So our skin is basically the body's first line of defense before we even start talking about the other immune cells inside our body. The ones on the skin first react before it goes further down. Now, the skin also regulates body temperature. So our skin is kind of like we'll say like a thermostat. So what it does is that it has the ability to conserve heat and cool us down during a hot weather, and also make us sweat. So what it does is that during hot weather, we tend to sweat, the sweat will evaporate, and before you know, you're cool. And if you notice, if you're someone who goes running or maybe to the gym or something like that, you notice that when you sweat, by the time you cool down, if you touch your body, you feel sort of cool and relaxed. It's not as hot, because when you're sweating, you think that, oh, you'll probably be hot, but no. So what that does is the sweat will evaporate and cool our body system down. Also, during cold weathers too, our blood vessels tend to constrict to prevent heat from escaping. Now, that heat will keep us warm during cold weathers. Also, the skin has the ability to regenerate itself. Now, our skin sheds dead cells every day, like every single day. Your skin is regenerating, it's shedding away dead cells in every single minute. And in a minute, it can shed about between 30,000 to 40,000 dead cells. I know that's very fascinating. So think of this, when you have maybe like a paper cut or maybe a knife cut or something in the kitchen, and after a few days, you might notice that, oh, it has healed. That's because in 1 inch of our skin, there are a million cells. In a very small place in our skin, sort of, there are 1 million cells. And what those cells do is that they are constantly working. They're constantly working to protect our body, constantly working to ensure that no germ goes into our body, constantly working to ensure that, oh, that injury that you've had is healed. They've ensured that it's not infected and things like that. So aside from the fact that it does shed, it has cells that are always working. Also, another fact about the skin is that it acts as an indication for health issues. If anything is wrong with your body system, your skin will tell you. Like, you will know from your skin. For example, if someone who has liver issues, they tend to have yellowish skin, or maybe yellow nails. And I think most mothers are aware of this. With a child that has jaundice, you see it in like the eyes, sort of yellowish eyes and things like that. So that your outer appearance, your skin will always tell you that there's a problem, there's something wrong inside your body. Another thing is that the skin is the core organ for melanin production. Now, melanin is a pigment, is a color pigment. That is what gives us the color of our skin. That is what gives us the color of our hair. That is what also gives us the color of our eyes. Now, for everybody, the amount of cells that produce melanin is the same, but the amount of melanin produced is different. So it's the amount of melanin that will determine a person's color. Most people are darker than the others. Some people are lighter than the others, sort of. So it's that melanin production. And it is very important. So it's not just there to give us color, it's also there to protect us from ultraviolet rays, which are like from the sun. So melanin absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays and protects our body from it. Excuse me. Also, the skin is a multifunctional sensory organ. Now, this one is the one that blows up all our mind, because it's without the skin, we cannot adapt to our environment. We can't see what's going on. So the four basic senses which have to do with pain, pressure, touch, hot, feeling of hotness, feeling of cold, you first feel it with your skin. So imagine if there's something wrong with your skin, you basically won't feel any of this. You won't know what is happening. So that allows us to adapt to our environment. That allows us to react. So aside from being a multifunctional sensory organ, when it reacts to those senses, it will also send receptors. It will create a stimuli for you to respond, and then all that trigger everything. So I think with all these facts, we can see that our skin is not just a covering. It's not just something that's just covering our body. It does a lot of things for our body. It is doing a lot of work. And we always need to ensure that in order for it to perform these are just some of the functions, some of a few functions of things that it does, but we need to ensure that we keep our skin healthy so that it can keep performing as much as we want it to. Okay. Now, skin related concerns. So what happens when what are the most common issues we tend to have with our skin? So I think the very first one is acne. A lot of people always come down with acne, especially teenagers. So acne is kind of like red pimples. It can either be blackheads or whiteheads. So what happens is it's like an inflammation. If the inflammation is under the skin, it will form the whiteheads, or if it's on top of the skin, that's where it will form the blackheads. Sometimes it could be painful, sometimes it's not painful. Another one is what we call psoriasis. So psoriasis it's itchy, it's like itchy, flaky skin, and it has this scaly look, and it's painful. Sometimes it can be swollen and red, sometimes it might not. Then we have dermatitis. Dermatitis is intense, severe itchiness, redness. Sometimes it could bring out discharge, sometimes it might not. There are different types of dermatitis. There's the atopic dermatitis, there's the contact dermatitis. Also, we have vitiligo. So vitiligo is kind of like skin patches on your skin becoming white. So imagine I'm sure a lot of people have seen this. Imagine like a black person having like white patches on their skin, sort of. Yes. Then we have warts. Warts, it's not it's like bumps that are usually caused with the human papilloma virus. So it's not painful, it's not it's just the bump, it's just the swollen bump. Then we have cellulitis. So cellulitis is swollen. Sometimes it can bring out discharge, sometimes it might not. It's very itchy. So I think the common thing with everything is that most times they're always very itchy, red, scaly, very dry. Then there's hyperpigmentation. So hyperpigmentation is a production of excess melanin, sort of. So most times you have like dark patches on your skin, or very dark, you become very dark, things like that. Then there's wrinkles. This one is premature. It can be stem up from premature aging. I think everybody's aware of wrinkles. Then there are skin tags. Now, skin tags usually they're harmless. They just pop up on the skin, and you just notice that there's a bump on your skin and you've been trying to pull it out. So usually they are found in areas where there's friction. So it can be under your armpit, under your bum, maybe behind your knee, on your neck, sort of any area at all that has got friction. Then also we have stretch marks. So stretch marks usually is like irregular lines that are formed when the skin has stretched so much, and then when it comes back, it leaves those marks, it leaves those lines. Then there's eczema. So eczema also itchy, dry skin. It could be cracked. For some people, it could be colored yellow or white. Then we have alopecia areata. Now that one has to do with the hair follicle. It's like a disorder with your hair follicle. Then there's melasma. So this one is mainly common among pregnant women. It's kind of like dark patches on your skin. I don't know, you know how maybe you see some pregnant women that every other part of their body is all right, but their neck is so dark, is so black, or their face is so black, but every other part is okay and normal. That is an example of melasma. So, right. So, what are the causative factors of this skin concerns that we've listed? So, one is clogged hair follicles. So, this happened when oil or dead cells. So, remember how I said the skin contains oil glands, hair follicles, and your nails. So those oil glands are what we call the sebaceous glands. Now, those sebaceous glands produce lubricants known as sebum, and it's oily in nature. So that sebum, what it does is it protects your body from being dry. But when there's an excess production of that sebum, and like I said, your skin is always shedding dead cells in every minute, it's shedding, and it has shed some cells, and the oil and the dead cells, everything mixed together, it will tend to clog the hair follicle. So this can lead to inflammation, it can cause acne, and it can cause some other skin disorders. Also, bacteria and fungi. Now, when bacteria gets onto the skin, it tends to cause certain skin disorders such as cellulitis. It can also cause cellulitis. It can also cause acne too. If it gets into the hair follicles and clogs the pores, it will cause acne. Another causative factor is genetics. Some studies have shown that certain skin disorders might not be as a result of it might not be as a result of anything, it might just be genes, or maybe it runs in the family. This particular family, they're always prone to acne, or they're always prone to a particular type of skin, or there may be alopecia or something like that. So it runs in the family. Then also, this is very common, hormonal changes. With hormonal changes, I think it's more common among teenagers, because that's when and puberty, sort of, that's when they are prone to acne. Some of them tend to have a lot of breakouts and things like that. This is because what happens is that studies have shown that the rise and fall of estrogen hormones and the testosterone hormones, actually, it makes the sebaceous gland, that gland that produces the oil, it makes it very sensitive. So when estrogen levels drop, even if you notice maybe when you're on your period or ovulating and things like that, when estrogen levels drop, there's an increase in the production of sebum oil. Now, obviously, dead cells again, this can also cause acne and things like that. So that's why most times at puberty is very common for teenagers to have acne, both male and female. Also, during pregnancy, the hormones also fluctuate. There's that fluctuation of hormones during pregnancy. This can lead to melasma too. So melasma can result from fluctuation in hormones. Harsh weather. Now, remember how we said our skin is the body's thermostat. So obviously, whether the weather is too hot or too cold, it would definitely tend to affect our skin. So what happens is that the body will react. When the weather is too hot, it will try and, as much as possible, to ensure that your skin is not dry. And then if you notice during winter, you tend to have dry skin, you tend to feel dehydrated and things like that. That's because it's trying to ensure that it's releasing all the moisture it has to ensure that your skin is not dry. So you always have to moisturize and drink a lot of fluids. Then with the environment, now environment consists of, there are a lot of things involved with this factor, because we have allergens. Last week we spoke about food allergens. So we have allergens, we have pollutants, we have dusts, we have harsh chemicals for people who work in factories and things like that. Even skincare products, certain skincare products contain certain chemicals that can be harsh on our skin. If you notice, most times when you use skincare products, you will notice that maybe it burnt your skin, or you're beginning to have rashes and things like that. That's just to show you that there's a particular product in there that is harsh on your skin. So some of all these factors in environment sort of tend to lead to either hyperpigmentation, dermatitis, acne, or even psoriasis. And like I said, when we did allergen last week, and we know that there are certain allergens that if you digest, you tend to have hives or blisters or sores or rashes. So that's an example to show that these things actually do affect our skin. Also, aside from environmental factor, medical conditions too. So certain medical conditions like inflammatory bowel disease. So if there's an issue with your bowels, also diabetes. So people with diabetes tend to have what we call maybe like Atlas foot, ringworm, or then people with inflammatory bowel disease and tend to have things like maybe skin tags, vitiligo. Also, there's this autoimmune disease known as lupus. So lupus tends to have it tends to make people have like scaly patches on their skin. So this can also be a causative factor of skin disorders. Another one, which is very common, is exposure to sun. Now, yes, we keep saying the best way to get your vitamin D is from the sun, but under harsh situations, or if it's too much, if you get too exposed to the sun, ultraviolet light tends to damage our skin barrier. And there are certain microorganisms that stay on our skin that are not harmful but are very beneficial. So we call them the skin microbes. We call them the skin microbes, sort of. So those are very good for our skin. So what they do is that they help to fight bacteria that can cause skin disorder. So if you get too exposed to sunlight, and those ultraviolet light damages your skin barrier, it's also going to affect that good bacteria, the skin microbes. So which means you become prone to skin disorders, aside from having hyperpigmentation, because your body will be producing excess melanin to try and protect you. That's why most times when you go out and you come back and you say, oh, you have sunburn, you see that you're extremely dark, because at that point in time, your body was trying to produce excess melanin to try and protect you from the sun. Also, poor diet. Now, this one, there've been a lot of controversies with this, but yes, your diet has the ability to affect your skin, which is what we're going to dive into right now. So, effects of dieting on the skin. How exactly does our diet affect our skin? Now, retinoids, also known as vitamin A and its metabolites, they have the ability to suppress the production of excess sebum. Now, in dietary form, this retinoids, or rather this vitamin A, they're known as retinol, retinol ester, carotenoids, carotenoids. So they are found these are the ones that you can find in your food. And what happens is that studies have shown that vitamin A has the ability to reveal retinoid receptors in the sebaceous gland. So what that is trying to say is that in simple terms, is that vitamin A has the ability to control that gland that produces sebum. That's why it can suppress it. Now, that's a very, very good thing. And also, based on a lot of dermatological evidence, it's been known that retinoids and its derivative are very good when it comes to in fact, they are important. If you speak to a dermatologist, if you have a skin disorder and you speak to a dermatologist and they are not saying, oh, use retinoid, then something is wrong. So retinoid plays an important role when dealing with skin issues, when dealing with skin disorders. And also, there have been so much evidence, very strong evidence, that shows that retinoid, vitamin A and its metabolites, that's retinoid and all of them, will they have the ability to attack. So what they do is that they attack the 4 major pathological factors that cause acne. So that is, they suppress the sebum production. They have the ability to deal with bacteria. They have the ability to unclog your pores, and they also have the ability to reduce inflammation. Those are the 4 pathological factors that can lead to acne, and retinoid and its metabolites can deal with all of them. So obviously, why not include it when you're trying to treat a skin disorder or acne, right?
Sylvia.
Also, Kelly?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
So retinoids.
Yeah.
What are retinoids? I'm sure you might have mentioned it, but you're saying a lot of good things about retinoids. What are retinoids?
So it's that's why I said, so when I started, I said it's basically vitamin A. So it's one of the metabolites of vitamin A. So retinoids, retinol, retinil, retinil ester, they are all sort of the same.
Okay, when you say metabolites of vitamin A, I feel like you're still using too
I'm
much
still using the
scientific
big words.
language.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are metabolites? So for a lay person,
For a lame person,
you're saying so many good things about
yeah.
retinoids. Where do we get
Yeah.
retinoids from? What is it?
What is it? Yes, I'm sorry. There are a lot of technical words, and I'm going to try to keep breaking everything down. So it's like when you take vitamin A and you break it down. Okay, if you break vitamin A into different parts, you get retinoids. So it's inside vitamin A.
It's inside vitamin A.
It's
Okay,
inside
so you're telling
vitamin A.
us that the constituents of vitamin A are
Yeah.
really helpful for, our skin. So you're going to
Yes.
tell us where we can get the vitamin A from,
Yes.
because we cannot find the retinoids. We have to get it from the foods that have vitamin A.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. So just to add to that, that's why I said the dietary form of that retinoids is because if you go to see a dermatologist, they will tell you to buy retinoids. So you just go to the chemist or somewhere and get a cream or something that's retinoids. But the dietary form of that is carotenoids. So the carotenoids and the beta carotene, and then retinol ester and retinol. So when I get to the part where I'm going to tell you what foods to eat, I will be giving you examples of foods that contain carotene and beta carotene.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Hey, Abo, did you have a question?
Okay.
Pardon?
Oh, okay. I wondered if you had a question. I saw that you unmuted.
Yeah, thank you for the questions you have asked. And she has said she's going to tell us where we
Yes.
shall get that when she gets to the portion of food. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And then also studies have also shown us that whether you're dealing with so it doesn't matter if the skin disorder or if the acne is mild or moderate or severe, whatever it is, vitamin A and all its metabolites will be able to solve that issue. It's very important when solving that. Now, vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important in the production of keratin. So what is keratin? Keratin is the protein that is found in our hair. So the hair follicles, the hair on our hair, and also our nails. The protein that makes it shine and beautiful and makes your hair look lush and all of that is known as keratin, and vitamin D is important in that production. Also, you know how we say, aside from the skin, even in our general health, we say, oh, we need vitamin D. Now, when we get that vitamin D from the sun, that vitamin D is being synthesized where? In the skin. So if your skin is not functioning well, you will not be getting good use of that vitamin D that you've gotten from the sun. So the skin plays an important role in the synthesis of vitamin D, because that's where that synthesis takes place from. Also, when vitamin D is being synthesized, what happens is that one of the I'm not going to say metabolites again now. So one of the things that are broken down, gotten from vitamin D, is what is used to produce, or what is used to produce that keratin. And then, very interesting, studies have also shown us that both vitamin D and vitamin A are the first nutrients. They are the major nutrients that play a role sort of have a link with hormones. So they have the ability to control the metabolism of hormones. They have the ability to activate hormones. They have the ability to inactivate it, and they also have the ability to eliminate any skin cells that probably is not working, like, okay, you're not doing your job. Bye. Vitamin A and vitamin D have that ability to they are the first nutrients that studies have shown that have all that ability. Now, vitamin E, omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids, they play an important role when dealing with inflammation. Now, we've explained that when something is wrong with the body or things happen, like your skin gets inflamed, and this can lead to rashes and things like that. So most of the time, I'm sorry, I'm going to use a lot of chemical terms here, but I will try to break it down to a layman's term. Still, there's what we call inflammation comes from what we call oxidation. So what happens is that in order to stop that oxidation, lipid, there's a process that needs to happen. It's called lipid oxidation. Lipid oxidation needs to happen. Now, in order for that lipid oxidation to happen, you need fatty acids. Why? Because you need an anti-inflammatory product. Now, that anti-inflammatory compound can only be gotten from fatty acids. It's gotten from a particular compound known as the linoleic and alpha-linoleic polyunsaturated fatty acid, which can only be found in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. So hence, it's what we call your essential fatty acids. So it cannot be made in your body. It has to be gotten from your diet. So it's an essential fatty acid. So in order for you to reduce inflammation, you need to ensure you're having good amounts of vitamin E, omega-3, and omega-6 fatty acid, because they contain that anti-inflammatory compound that can help trigger the production of lipid oxidation, which will stop whatever is triggering that inflammation. I hope that's making sense. Okay. Also, minerals such as zinc and copper, they also play an important role too when dealing with inflammation. So they also have an anti-inflammatory compound that can help to deal with inflammation. So I think with all this evidence, and because the link is so strong, the link between these nutrients and minerals is so strong that they play an important role in the health of our skin. So studies have also shown that an imbalance of these nutrients can cause negative effects on our not just on acne, but on our overall general health. But there is no specific, now this is where a lot of people get it wrong. There is no specific evidence or study that says that this particular food, and if you eat this particular food, it will cause or it will trigger a skin disorder. There is no evidence like that. All we know from all the evidence gathered so far is that your diet, these minerals and these nutrients have the ability to either improve your skin disorder or make it worse. So you know how most times most people will say, they said I shouldn't eat, maybe they said I shouldn't eat nuts because it will give me pimples. No, it's not going to give you pimples. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Now,
just before you continue, there's a question in
okay.
the chat. Someone says, you mentioned that dry skin is expected during the winter months, but my dad's skin remains quite dry all year round despite using creams. What nutrients could be missing from his diet, and how much water should he be drinking?
Right. So we always recommend that you should be having at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. And just like I had earlier explained, your skin is the first sign that would always give you a sign to tell you that there's something wrong somewhere. So aside from his cream, he needs to look at his diet, because everything starts from the inside. Before we start considering whether he's moisturizing or well. We need to review his diet. What sort of meals is he having? What sort of things is he having? Is he eating the right amount of fruits and vegetables and things like that? So I'm sure when we get to the types of food to eat, you might get a few tips from there that can help him, and you might want to adjust his diet to see how he gets on better. I hope that helps.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, we can continue. Thanks.
Okay. So, will a healthy gut give me a clear skin? Yes, 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 and yes again. Now, you know that saying that you always hear of, you are what you eat. Now, ensuring that you have a balanced diet would definitely ensuring that your gut system is working. So researchers have shown that when there is a disruption in our gut health, it tends to lead to inflammation, which can cause irritation on our skin. Now, let's take a very simple example. Okay, before we take the example, what happens here is that when you consume a food that has an ingredient that can disrupt your gut system, just the same way you have healthy bacteria on your skin, is the same way you have healthy bacteria in your gut, that's in your intestines. So when you take a food that disrupts that barrier, your intestinal walls, your intestinal barrier, those gut microbiomes will flow into the bloodstream, and this will lead to inflammation. An example, imagine if you consume a food that has got an allergen and you get that inflammation. Most people will say, oh, when they eat shrimps or something like that, what happens? They have rashes or they have blisters. So that is a very simple and typical example for you to know that your skin, a healthy gut would definitely give you a clear skin. Your skin is definitely linked to your gut. In fact, so many evidence, so many theories have come out to try and link, showing the link between gut and skin. They call it the gut and skin axis. So there's a link between the gut and the skin. There's a link between your gut and the brain. There's also even possibly a link between your brain and your skin, which we can say maybe that will be another discussion, but not necessarily related to that. That's more of responding to stimuli, sort of. Okay. Yes, I'm sure this is the one that everybody sort of is waiting for.
No,
Right. So
Sylvia, before then, so that what you said about the gut, that if the gut is unhealthy, then that would affect your skin. What are some of the things that could make us have unhealthy gut?
yeah, so one of them is your food allergens. That's
Okay,
that's
yes.
one. Yeah.
I know
So
you made that example. Yeah.
yes, so having to eat something is mainly your food. So having to eat something that's going to trigger or is going to upset your intestinal barriers. So anything that doesn't sit well with your stomach that your body will react to. Aside from your diet, it can also be a digestive problem. If you're having issues with your digestive system, it could also upset your gut microbiomes, and that can also trigger an inflammation. So the inflammation comes from where the moment that intestinal barrier is disrupted, and the gut microbiomes can enter the bloodstream. Once they enter the bloodstream, it will definitely trigger an inflammation.
There's another question that says, what about children born with dry skin?
Right. So that one, most times it's usually a medical condition or sometimes it's genetics. So with that, they're always and sometimes it tends to go away, sometimes it's a long-term condition. So most times it's a medical condition that has to be looked into. And that is more from a dermatology side of you, more from the
Yeah,
doctor's perspective and things like that. Yeah, that will
yeah,
come more
yeah.
from doctor. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, so that would be beyond the scope of this talk in
Yeah.
terms of looking at the link between diet and skin health. Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks.
I think that was one of the reasons why when I did the list of skin concerns, I only just did the common ones that we know you can improve, you can handle. I didn't include the chronic ones like skin cancer, and even when I mentioned lupus, it's more of an autoimmune disorder. So it's more of the immune system, more genetics and things like that. So those are more technical and will require more of like an advanced medical
Assessment or diagnosis.
assessment. Yeah. So right, okay. So to have a healthy skin, we need to ensure that you're having a balanced diet. Now, all round, it's not just your diet has to be rich in antioxidants, it has to be rich in vitamins, it has to be rich in minerals, it has to be rich in any of those omega fatty acids that we've mentioned. So either omega-3, either omega-6. In fact, your diet has to contain a lot of anti-inflammatory compounds. It has to be rich in anti-inflammatory compounds. So basically, we're talking of fatty fish. So fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, and herring, they contain high amounts of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. They also have vitamin E, which contains an anti-inflammatory compound. And then aside from the fish, certain types of seafood such as shrimps, mollusk, crabs, they also contain vitamin E too. Also nuts and seeds. So we're talking walnuts, chia seeds, maybe sunflower seeds. These also contain high amount of omega-3 fatty acids. They also contain vitamin E. And then fruits that are rich in healthy fats, avocados. You know how even when you're trying to do skincare and you go out to buy skincare products, you see some products that will tell you contains avocado. So research have shown that avocado actually has a compound that helps in preventing wrinkles. So that's premature aging. So it has a compound that helps in preventing wrinkles. So avocado is a rich source of healthy fat. It contains a rich amount of vitamin E also. Now, a variety of vegetables such as bell peppers. Now, the bell peppers I'm talking about is those the yellow ones, the colorful ones. Basically, I think it's not just only bell peppers, any colorful vegetable, because what happens is that they contain carotene. So they contain that. Remember the carotene we're talking about with the retinoids? Yeah. So they contain carotene and the beta carotene. So when consumed, this will be broken down to vitamin A in your body system. So bell peppers, broccoli contains high amount of vitamin C. Vitamin C is required in the production of collagen. Collagen is what gives your skin that smooth shine and makes it strong and healthy, and it helps in your skin's elasticity. So tomatoes also contains vitamin C too. Tomato also is also rich in carotene. Tomatoes is also rich in antioxidants that will help prevent your body from free radicals. Another thing about inflammation too. Kale is also rich in vitamin C. Now, unsweetened cocoa. So when I'm talking about
Sylvia, before you
yes,
continue, because
okay,
I remember stopping you when you were talking so much about the retinoid. So I think this is where I came in. So for anyone who was wondering, because
yeah,
Sylvia went on and on and on about retinoids and carotene. So it's that group. All of those vegetables, the
colorful
colorful ones,
vegetables, yeah,
so that's what you were referring to. So all of those foods have high amounts of vitamin A metabolites,
yeah,
all the technical terms she was using, all of that can be found in the very colorful vegetables. So your bell peppers, your broccoli, your tomatoes, these are what she's referring to. Really,
yeah.
really helpful for our skin. Okay, I thought I should just emphasize here.
On that, yeah.
Yes, and then
Also
the
your
avocado. Go on.
also your carrots. So
Okay.
with carrots, back in Nigeria, we used to have this really nice species of carrots that you could get, purple carrots. I haven't seen it since I came to the UK. I don't know if anyone has seen it. You could get purple carrots or orange carrots and things like that. Also with your cabbage, your purple cabbage. So colorful vegetable. That is the carotene that gives those vegetables their color, basically. So um also on sweetened cocoa. So the thing about unsweetened cocoa, that's with with chocolate drinks and dark chocolate. 70% of dark chocolate is unsweetened cocoa. So what happens is that it contains flavonoids. Now, these are also antioxidants that help to fight inflammation. So remember I said your food should contain high amounts of anti-inflammatory compounds. Now, a variety of fruits, berries, any berry at all, blueberries, raspberries, all the berries you can think of, they all have got antioxidants that will help fight against inflammation. Also grapes. So grapes, red grapes to be precise. There's the theory that grapes have got this it's a type of flavonoid, I think it's called resveratrol, something like that, in the skin that helps to fight against inflammation. That's why sometimes that theory came up about red wine and things like that. But you can't advise someone to keep taking red wine, because we don't know how many grape skin they've used in making that red wine, or if you have a glass, how many you're going to get out of it. So the best thing we just say is have the red grapes as a fruit rather than having it as red wine. Then also carbs such as sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes, I think here in the UK you've got the colored ones too, those orangey ones. And in back in Africa we used to have the pink ones. Yeah, so those also contain carotene, that's the vitamin A. Also farro, millet, buckwheat, they also help to fight inflammation. Spices like ginger, cinnamon, they contain antioxidants too that help to fight inflammation. And then also, so aside from making a diet with all of this, you also need to ensure that you are drinking at least 6 to 8 cups of water daily. Always, whether in the winter or during the hot season, always ensure that you're replenishing your body system with enough fluids, enough water to be precise. Now, foods to limit or foods to avoid. So refined carbs. So basically you should limit refined carbs such as white flour, white rice, white spaghetti, things like that. Trans fat. Now, trans fat, I've had a session on, I think Dr. Hibbah, I think it was when I had that session on fats or something like that. Trans fats are added fats. So cooking oil, it happens mainly with fast foods. You know, when they reuse the oil, when you go to fast food and you buy chips, there's no
It's not
way they are frying. There's
it's
no
not
way they are
just fast food, Sylvia. In our
in,
community, we
in our
use palm
community.
oil
Yes,
to fry our fish, and
yes,
yes, so
and then we keep
let's
it.
let's come home. A lot of us keep oils and reuse and reuse and reuse. So that's what you're referring to, trans fats. Yeah,
Yes, trans fat. Yeah, that's what I said. I remember. I think I did a
you did a
session on
session.
that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I did a session on that. Yeah. So that oil you're reusing, and everything. That is it. So even aside from the oil, examples of trans fats that you go to supermarket to buy. I think this is more common among the Asians too. It's called ghee. That ghee butter. I don't know if anyone uses that. Yeah, that is also an example of trans fat. Then also foods that are high in sugar. So sugary foods, your pastries, your cakes, and all of that. Saturated fats such as your butter, not margarine now, your butter. Um, also coconut oil, and things like that. Then processed meat. So examples of processed meat, bacon, sausage, um, any processed meat, the salamis and things like that. So these are foods that you should limit, or better still, avoid having in your diet. Now, aside from diet, can your lifestyle affect your skin? Yes. So studies have shown that smokers are at a very high risk of being exposed to different skin conditions. So what happens is that over time, smoking tends to reduce vitamin A levels in the skin, and this will break down elastic fibers of the skin. It will also narrow out your blood vessels, and it will produce free radicals. Now, that free radicals that even if you have a good diet and you're eating antioxidants to help you fight those free radicals, smoking is going to produce those free radicals normally in your body. So it will produce those free radicals, and this can damage your skin. Also, the high consumption of alcohol tends to weaken our skin's antioxidant defense mechanism. So, no matter how healthy you think you're eating and you're still taking high amounts of alcohol, your body is not going to be able to defend itself against those free radicals. So the antioxidants that you're getting from the food, it's not going to even do anything. It's not going to be able to fight because your body's mechanism is very weak to process it. Also, studies have shown that stress or lack of sleep can cause hormonal imbalance. Remember how we said one of the causative factors of skin disorder is hormonal changes, fluctuations in your hormone. So if you're stressed, when we're stressed, we know that it triggers the excess production of a hormone known as cortisol, and excess amount of cortisol in the body tends to lead to inflammation. So that's why most times when most people are stressed, I have a friend that when she's stressed, she breaks out a lot. When she's not sleeping, she just starts to break out. She has a lot of breakouts. So when you're stressed, when you do not sleep well, this can also affect your hormonal it can also affect your hormones. Another one is poor hygiene and skincare. So if you're not taking good care of your skin, people who work in factories or people who work in an area that is, remember how we spoke about the environment, pollutants and dust. So people who work in such areas, you go to work, you come back, you don't even clean your face or take a shower and things like that. Poor hygiene can put you at risk of certain skin disorders. Also, if you go to the gym, you're using equipment, you're not cleaning them when you're done, or even before you use them, you're not concerned to wipe it down and things like that. Those are examples of poor hygiene. Okay. Now, everyday tips to achieve a healthy skin. First things first, you need to have a healthy and nutritious diet. That is the very first thing. Ensure that you have a balanced diet that contains all the vitamins, all the minerals that we've discussed, and a high amount of anti-inflammatory compounds. Also, normalize drinking water daily. Always ensure that you're drinking enough water daily. A good cleanse twice every day will help you unclog your pores, because remember, your skin sheds dead cells every minute, about 30,000 to 40,000 dead cells every minute. So you need to ensure that you're cleansing your skin at least twice daily, as this will help unclog those pores. Now, always, you can see that the always there is in capital letter. Always apply a good amount of sunscreen every day, because this is going to help you, it's going to help prevent your body from getting harmed by ultraviolet rays from the sun, and it will also help your melanin from overworking and having to produce excess melanin to protect you from the sun. So always ensure you have a good amount of sunscreen on. Now, whether in the summer or in winter, always know that you have a good amount of sunscreen. And just to say, I remember back in Africa, I don't think we really used to rub sunscreen like that back in Africa, because we just assumed that, oh, what's the sun going to do? I'm already black. If I go out saying, I will just get darker, that's it. But that is you damaging your skin. Over time, that can lead to premature aging, wrinkles. Studies have shown that high exposure to sun can cause all of this. Now, choose a very healthy lifestyle habit. we had already talked about how your lifestyle can affect your diet. Ensure you're not having excess alcohol, avoid smoking, try as much as possible to rest, to get some rest as much as you can, and avoid having a dry skin. Dry skin still comes from drinking water. Have lots of fluid. Ensure you are moisturizing regularly. Get a good moisturizer. It's not just about, so this is the part where your dermatologist is going to come in, because certain what works for A will not work for B. I have a dry skin. I remember someone saying something about her dad having a dry skin all year round. Now, another thing also, it depends on the kind of cream he's using. I have a dry skin, and I have come to know that there are certain creams that will not work. No matter how I use it, even if I scratch my hand like this, I will still have, till I found a cream that works for me. So ensure you're moisturizing with a good skincare product, not just any product at all. Also avoid sharing personal items and cosmetics. This applies to our females, our girls, people who do makeup. Basically, don't go about sharing makeup brushes and personal items like that. So avoid doing all of that. Also avoid using any product that is not required for your skin. For example, retinoids. In as much as retinoid is the best for skin, you cannot just walk into any cosmetic store and buy retinoid and start using. It is from because I follow a lot of dermatologists, and from what I have learned from them, it's quite harsh on the skin. There's a they always give you a step to how to introduce it to your skin, and they will always tell you, before you use any retinoids from the store, speak to your dermatologist. Don't just say, oh, my friend is using so and so product. I like how it looks on her skin. I would like to try it. No, the minute you try it, that's the damage it's going to just damage your skin, or it might not work for you. I have a personal I have a personal experience like that. There was a skin product that came out, and everybody seemed to be using it, and their skin was glowing and shine. I didn't have any issues with my skin. I was not having any problem. I wasn't even using anything. I wasn't having any problem with my skin. I was like, okay, let me try. Maybe my skin will glow more than how it's already glowing. And then I tried it, and I even when I was a teenager, I didn't have breakouts. I think the only time I have breakouts is maybe when ovulation and or periods and things like that. I started to break out badly. Like I was breaking out badly. Like, and it wasn't even the regular breakout, it was the breakout that it was painful, it was very itchy. So because I was new to it, sometimes I would itch it, and after a while to leave scars, I had to stop using the product. So please, please, and please avoid using any product that is not required for your skin.
Sylvia. Okay.
Yes, Dr.
You've just ended, because I was about to say our time is actually up.
Yes.
So I think we'll quickly just address these two questions. So
Okay.
there's one that says, is it true that having sex often has any benefit on your skin? Did you
No.
come across anything like that in the literature? So that's just, we
Yes.
don't have
Yes,
any
I did.
we don't have any
That's a big,
evidence to say that's the case. Okay.
yes,
Fiona
that's a
says,
big no.
okay, can you suggest nutrients to avoid dark circles around your eyes? For example, does lemon work? And then we can wrap up, because
No. So with dark circles around your eyes, that has to do with sometimes it can be triggered from lack of sleep. It can be triggered from stress and lack of sleep. In fact, that is one of the symptoms. That's one of the symptoms related to stress and lack of sleep. So try as much as possible to get some rest. Um, Instead of putting the lemon around your eyes, you can I've given a list of foods that are rich in vitamin C. So try as much as possible to have vegetables that are rich in vitamin C. Those will tend to help better. And then you can speak to a dermatologist and see if you can get an eye cream if after a while it doesn't go. But it depends also, because for most people it can be genetics. I have a friend who's got a permanent dark circle around her eyes, and her mother has it, her aunties have got it. For a very long time, she tried to take it off. She used different skin products, but it wasn't working because it was genetics. So that's another thing you also need to consider.
Okay, Sylvia, unfortunately, I have to stop you here. Thank you so much. Sakina said this was very insightful. Thank you so much. I kept interrupting you and asking questions along the line. I think that's why it seemed like you didn't have any time at the end, but I think it was still really very informative because, yeah, we stopped you along the line. Yeah.
Thank
Eyabo,
you.
did you have
Really
something?
yes, really very informative. And the fact that you were stopping her,
Yeah.
gave a kind of enlightenment, understanding as to what she wanted us to learn. Thank you very much, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eyabo. Thank you,
Yep.
everyone, for joining.
everyone
Thank you
for
for the
joining.
engagement. As always, it's time for Orlando to take over. Please join us next week for our final session. Really going to be a very interesting one. So please do join us. Final one for the year. And then help us plan for next year. Come and tell us what you want for 2024
right.
next Tuesday. Thank you all. Thank you, Sylvia. Orlando, over to you.
Hibbah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
The walking sticks are in the conservatory.
Can you just spotlight me, please, Dr. Hibbah? You done?
Not yet.
Not yet. Sure people can see me yet, but if you can, welcome to the exercise part. There we go. I think we're on now. Spot. There we go. There I am, full HD. Hey people across YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. I hope you are ready for tonight's exercise session. We have an upper body session planned. So we're going to hit the chest, the back, the shoulders, the arms, and we're going to get a great workout to end this Tuesday evening. All right, for this session, all you need is space and plenty of water. We're going to go straight in now. So let me turn my tunes up. We're going to start with our warm-up. Okay, so first 30 seconds, we're just going to roll our arms forward like so. Let's go.
Meet and greet. The meet and greet is okay. Oh, sorry. Well done.
I'm backwards now. Three, two, one. Let's go. Side steps. Right across. Nice big stretch. 10 seconds, people. 2, 1. Okay, next one. We're going to bend hips here. Come up, switch both sides. Ten seconds. 2, 1. Back to arm rotation. Let's go. Arm backwards. 3, 2, 1. Okay, take 15 seconds. Take on some water if you need it. And then we're right back in with the warm up. Well done. Okay, people, straight back in. So same move. Let's go in reverse order. So we're starting with swinging our arm forward. Let's go. I'm back. Three, two, one. Okay, at the hips. Three, two, one. Side step. Let's go. Let's go, people. You're feeling nice and warm now. Three, two, one. Swing those arms one more time. Hand backwards. Three, two, one. Time, people. Okay, take 30 seconds. Take on some water, and we're going to go into circuit number one. Well done. Okay, people, back to your spaces. Let's get into circuit number one. Okay, so we're sticking to our regular format. So for each circuit, we've got 2 circuits to do. There's going to be 4 exercises per circuit, and we're going to work for 60 seconds per exercise with a little rest in between. All right. Work-wise, we're going to work out around a 6, a 5, or 6 out of 10, with 10 being the hardest you've ever worked, and 1 being doing nothing, sat on the sofa. So we want to keep it at around a 5 or a 6. But if you feel fit, feel free to increase your work rate. If not, if you're not feeling too able today, then you can decrease it slightly. All right, so first 2 moves coming your way. We have the Arnold press, which was made famous by, if you can imagine, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So we're here, hands in front, palms facing our face. And we're just going to go round and up, nice and strong. So round and up, nice and strong. As usual, if you have any weights lying around, or bottles of drink, or ornaments, or anything with a bit of weight in it, you can bring those in right now for your Arnold press. So we're going to be here, bang, and around, 60 seconds. From there, we've got the dumbbell press. All right, so we're going to have dumbbells here, or no dumbbells here, and we're going to dip down slightly. I'm going to press above our head. Okay, so we're working the shoulders here again. So dumbbell press from here. Again, bring your weights in, bottles of water, whatever you have lying around the house. All right. So from Arnold press, slight break, and then we've got dumbbell press from here. Those are your first two moves, people. Okay, let me turn my tunes up. Let's get straight into this round. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, people, start with the arm and press. Get ready. Let's go on the drop. Get ready. Get ready. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Get nice squeeze at the top when you get to the top. Ready to squeeze your shoulders. Keep that going, people. Halfway. Let's go, people. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Now rest for 20 seconds. Take those arms up, shake those shoulders up. Dumbbell press coming up in 3, 2, 1. Show me, let's go. Keep that going, people. Coming up to halfway right now. "15 seconds. 2, 1. I'm resting 30 seconds, people. 30 seconds rest, people. Okay, listen in while you rest. Next 2 moves to finish the round. We have front raises. So working on the front of our shoulders. So we're here, and raising the shoulders nice and strong. Get that nice squeeze at the top and squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your arms. Bang. And then from there, we've got seated rows. So quarter squat here. And we should bring those elbows into the ribs. Bring those elbows into the ribs nice and strong. All right, so from front raises to seated rows. Let's get ready, people. Let's get ready. Front raises, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Front raises. Let's go. Keep that going. Halfway now. Halfway. Uh, 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, rest for 20 seconds. Last move coming up now. Come on. Ten seconds. We're going in. 3, 2, one. Let's go. 60 rolls. Nice. Go. Halfway. Fifteen seconds. Three, two, one. And that's time, people. Well done. Round one down, circuit one down. Take a 30-second rest, take up some water, and then we're right back for circuit number two. Well done, people. Okay, people, back to your spaces now. Let's get into circuit number two. All right, so again, 4 exercises, 60 seconds per exercise, and a short break in between. All right, so move number one, we've got upright rows. So again, bring in your weights, kettlebells, bottles of water, whatever you have, that's got a bit of weight to it. Bring it in now if you want. Again, over here, which will travel up the stomach, right to the chest. Squeeze the back, squeezing the back. Put it down, up, squeeze, and down, roll, up, squeeze. From there, we have bicep curls. So we're going to go here, squeeze, 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 really squeeze your biceps, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, so from upright rows, 60 seconds to bicep curls. Okay, let's get straight into it, people. Let's go. They're ready. Upright rows to start. They're ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, people. Feedback on halfway. Feedback on. Top 10. 3, 2, 1. Take a 20-second rest. Get ready. Bicep curls in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Start going, people. Back on. 15 seconds. Last 10. 3, 2, 1. Take 30 seconds to rest. Okay, people, while you rest, the last 2 moves of the evening. First, we've got lateral raises, so we're working on the sides of the shoulders right there. So here, arm by your side, raising to the side, getting a nice squeeze at the top, so squeezing the shoulders at the top. Here, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, and then to finish the round, we have bent over rows. So we're going to be here, and again, we're bringing that elbow right to the ribs, both sides. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, so from the lateral raises to bent over roll. Let's get straight into it, people. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's go. Fifteen seconds to go, my people. Two, 1. Take 20 seconds to rest. Last move coming up. Bent over rows to finish coming up in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Bent over rows, people. Let's go. That good. Halfway. Let's go. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. And that's time, my people. Well done. Take on some water for 20 seconds and then we'll stretch off. Well done. Okay, we're going to be back at your spaces. Let's stretch off. Let's start with the neck, going side to side, like so. Up and down now. Okay, torso twist. Those legs facing forward. Okay, arm across your chest. Pull beside the elbow. Same arm behind the head. Pull down beside the elbow. Okay, change arms for me. Same arm behind the head. Take a deep foot back. Hey, shake it all up now, people. And that's time, people. Give yourself a big pound of back. Upper body session. Praise, Osam, are you in the building? I'm not sure who's
Thank you so much, Orlando, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Have a great evening and see you next week.
Next week, people. Peace.
Bye.